Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. It is now time for the deep dive. We're going to celebrate all things South Australian football, and who better to have with us for the second year in a row. Give him a round of applause, the great Andrew Jarvis.
Yes. G'day, everybody. Nice to be here on this beautiful Sunday.
Jars, I'm disappointed, though.
What's happened,
You didn't
Matty?
bring the props this year.
Yeah, I do apologise.
You're dropping off a bit, or?
Yeah, well, I have. I've dropped the guard. I've been a busy week here in South Australia, so sorry, Tone. There's nothing for you. Oh, no comment. Nath, look at those fists. Oh, yeah. And hello to you, to Piers Morgan.
Is there someone that you'd like to take on at any point?
Oh, I'd like to take on Rashudo from the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah. Talk us through what's going on at your club.
Not much.
Yeah.
Norton 4. They've lost their way a little bit, lost some confidence. Look, they were brave on the other night, but just not good enough. Not enough class players in the side at the moment.
Did you expect them in 2024 to spike and head to the
last
finals?
After last year, Damo, yes, absolutely. Everyone's talking top 8, but I just think there's some issues there with the personnel and the recruiting over the last 3 or 4 years. You can't just rely on the great man Tex Walker to carry you, and he's banged up a bit this year. So, look, they've got to put their flag in the ground. I think that's my lift. I better. They've got to put their flag in the ground. And Matty Nix, as you know, he's copping all the responsibility. So he needs to make a change. And this time next year, they should be in a better shape as a group. But anyway, Carlton next week. Don't get any easier.
No.
Can you give us Melburnians a bit of a snapshot, and people watching at home outside of South Australia?
Yeah.
How tough is it being a Crows player or a Port player?
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal. You're scrutinised to the inch of your life. The two respective coaches. It's non-stop. The media are everywhere, and we expect to be playing finals.
Down the street, you get feedback?
Yeah, all the time. Even in the butcher shop, the coffee shop. It's constant, Tony. It's constant, but we love it, and we're a proud football state, and that's why we do the gather round better than anyone in the world.
Correct. You are a proud state. We're going to look, Jars, at the first game the Crows ever played, and the first power game that was ever played. So this is 1991. You belted of the eventual premiers Hawthorn by 86 points at Footy Park. Talk us through your memories.
You had
of
29.
Stop it, Nath. I stood my young brother Darren, obviously went to Hawthorn, and that was a tough occasion because we played football together for a long period of time. But it was a great night, and it was against Hawthorn, so we celebrated long and hard.
And this is a power. They played their debut at the MCG, losing to Collingwood by 78 points. But it's been awesome for the competition, hasn't it, having these two proud teams that have both won premierships as well.
Well, it's a proud football state. It really is, and that's why good on Tasmania for putting their team in the competition. So Port Adelaide and the Adelaide Crows, they don't like each other. Do they, Kano?
No, we know each other. Best rivalry in the game, Jars.
It is.
Proud footy state, but the premierships have been a while ago now, Jars. Obviously 97, 98 from a Crows perspective, in 2004 when Kano was dominating for Port Adelaide. There's obviously been lost grand finals on top of those winning ones, but it's been a while.
A long time, isn't it? They're hard to get into. They say every 7 years. I don't know if that's just a myth, but they're not easy. 1993, if I can reflect, we played in the prelim. We were 45 points up against your old side, Hawthorn. We thought an hour away, we're playing in the grand final, and then we blew it. But, Look at this. Look at that superstar, Gav.
Brought down the Brisbane Lions there,
Yeah,
Kane.
kick 4, and there's the great man, Mark Williams. What a day it was. But 20 years ago, so it goes quickly, and it's a long time. And now, Jars, Malcolm Blight was the coach of those two premierships, of course. Have you reconciled, and you've been asked about it a million times, we'll see Blighty's highlights, what a player he was, it speaks for itself, but you had a checkered history with McGuinness, McDermott and yourself, 3 legends of the club that he let go before he even started. Did you still think about that, and what do you say when people ask you about it?
Oh, look, back then you're bitter and you're angry, but as time moves on, you just let it go and you understand.
How long did that take to move on?
Not even, well, what is it now? 11:15, I still haven't moved on.
You're on good terms with him?
Absolutely. Like the other night we caught up and it was good. Look, you reflect back on that, but he's got to make those decisions. And look, end of the day, they won, back-to-back premierships.
Were you too big a personality, or was it footy-based?
A bit of both, I would imagine, but he made those decisions. Football's about entertainment, and that's what I like to do, is entertain But anyway, he made the right decision at the end of the day, and But my brother just every now and then reminds me to.
Another famous name was Stephen Kernahan. He kicked over 1,000 goals for both Glenelg and Carlton. Played with him a state game. He kicked 10 in a state game. Stephen
84,
Kernahan talks about how good this man was.
One of the great South Australian key forwards in the competition. A much-loved figure, a beautiful bloke, great teammate for state footy.
Just a leader.
A great leader. He walked into the change rooms and you knew you were in good hands. And, he's a beauty. And, I loved playing with Stephen Kernahan. And we had a cracking team in the 80s. Loved playing against Victoria and, one of the greats of South Australia.
One of the ones we were really envious of in Victoria was Tony Modra. I mentioned him a little earlier in the show. Just an absolute freak, really, isn't he? I mean, and you had the opportunity to see him, close up, obviously. 165 games, 588 goals, 2 All-Australians, 3 Marks of the Year, and a Hall of Fame. What was it like to actually just be there with him?
It was one of the great experiences as a teammate. He's a very shy and humble player, or Mods, but he was so strong in the air. But he was just as dangerous at ground level. He had a gift. He knew where the footy was. He had a natural ability. He could play any sport. Very humble, and it was like being with Mick Jagger. It was that big, and you roomed with him, and there was letters and flowers outside the door the next morning. He was a much-loved figure, and he still struggles with the fact that the Adelaide Crows let him go. He still struggles with that.
Yeah, and he's a Crows man, isn't he?
He's a Crows great.
Did he struggle with motivation at times off the field, and how was that as one of his teammates?
Your dad did a great job with him when your dad was coaching him for that 4-year period. But every now and then when the pressure started to build, Mods would start to drift off. But every now and then we had to just get him in line. There was one game we were playing, I think it was Carlton. He had a couple of frothies the night before, and he missed a training session. And the three of us, the older boys, we were very, very disappointed with him. And we actually gave it to him. We went out and kicked 13 on Stephen. 13 on Stephen. Silvani.
Just to finish, we want to show highlights of yourself and Darren. So growing up, I loved watching the Cracker brothers, and then it became about the Jarman brothers. So, how do you feel like you've been able to play AFL football with your brother?
Oh, it was a great experience. We got him back in 1996, and obviously that was a couple of years, 95, 96 was good. But look, he was a wonderful player, DJ. He'd put the ball on the outside, 60, 70 out, he'd just nail it every time. And he was really good to play with, and we just had that knack. I knew where he was as a brother, and we had a lot of fun. And look, it helps when you're a year older and a year younger. You just practice non-stop,
and
that's what we did.
It's your skills. Were you taught by? Was it your father or someone, or you two? How did
we just taught each other?
Yeah,
we just taught each other because we had each other. So we spent thousands of hours practicing and honing our skills.
Well, we talk about Darren, but what about your twin brother? What was it like to play with him?
Oh, it was great. We had a triplet, and Andrew actually ate him. But he looks like a bowling ball up there.
Talk about a bowling ball.
Yeah. But what a great player he was. Darren, a lot better player. You'd admit that, Andrew.
No comment, William.
Of course he was a lot better player, but doing well on the radio too on Triple M. He's flying there, so going beautifully. So good work, Jars. He's had a couple this week. Have you been home yet?
Yes, I have, William.
When?
Thursday night.
All right, great stuff.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Modra.
Just want to say, Andrew, when you come in, we all sit taller and on the edge of our seat because you're such an entertainer. It's what the game's lost, and we thank you for coming in this morning on Sunday.
Thank you.